Across the vast landscapes of southern Africa, from rolling savannas and ancient mountains to quiet rural villages, a profound story of women's health has unfolded over centuries. It is a story carried in whispers, rituals, and the steady hands of traditional healers. A story where medicine is inseparable from culture, spirituality, and the rhythms of nature. Across many communities, the story of Southern Africa has always been carried by its women. They are the first teachers of language and tradition, the keepers of family history, the guardians of culture, and the foundations upon which communities are built. They cultivate the land, care for the young and the old, lead businesses and professions, preserve indigenous knowledge, and drive the social and economic life of the region. Across every generation, the health of women has shaped the health of nations. Yet the journey through womanhood is one of continual transformation. It begins quietly with the first menstrual cycle, unfolds through the reproductive years, and continues into menopause and healthy aging. Each stage brings remarkable changes, along with questions, challenges, and opportunities for care. For thousands of years, communities across Southern Africa have developed ways of understanding these transitions. Knowledge was shared by mothers, grandmothers, respected elders, and traditional healers who observed the rhythms of nature and the human body, passing their experience from one generation to the next. Today, that living tradition exists alongside modern medicine, where scientific research, advanced diagnostics, and evidence-based treatments have transformed the prevention and management of many diseases affecting women. For many women, these approaches are not viewed as competing alternatives, but as different forms of support that may be used at different times and for different needs. Understanding how these systems coexist provides valuable insight into women's healthcare across the region. Women's health is a journey that spans an entire lifetime. Understanding that journey means recognizing not only the biology of the human body, but also the cultures, beliefs, and healthcare systems that continue to shape the lives of millions of women across Southern Africa today. Across Africa, many of the traditions that once guided girls from birth and childhood into womanhood are gradually changing. Knowledge once passed from mothers, grandmothers, female elders, and traditional healers has become less common as societies have urbanized and formal education has expanded. While many traditions endure, others risk being lost unless they are preserved and passed on to future generations. Among those working to preserve this knowledge is Harry, a traditional medicine expert and herbalist from Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. Drawing on years of practical experience and indigenous knowledge passed down through generations, he explains how traditional medicine has long supported women's health, from puberty and motherhood to later life.
There are instances, like traditionally, when a male child is born and a female child is born, they don't come out the same time. For a male child, it might take 3 months before you're allowed to take him out to the world. A female child, say to be 6 months, because it is assumed the female is fragile. So she needs to be kept close within the house until she's big enough. With African culture, it avoided children coming close to the people coming close to the child, because that's the most vulnerable part of a person. People can come and do funny things to the child. So during that time, the child is kept inside, and we are exercising our ritual strengthening, uthwasising inkanda, where each family has got its own traditional way of doing it, where you know that whenever a child is born in our family, we use these herbs to wash them. And the navel, that extra umbilical cord that comes out, the way it's dumped. So for a female child, these things affect her later on. Marriage, interaction with people. That's why she's kept for a while and made sure she's well protected against that. Then when she reaches age of puberty, some take them to Chinamwale. Chinamwale is a Nyanja culture, but for boys it's called circumcision school. Women also go to their own time where they are taught how to take care of a man, how to deal with sexual issues, since they are now grown, old enough now to start to experiencing those feelings. They are taken there. This helped the girl child understand herself sexually and physically, because she'll be starting her periods, and so they're taken to a place where they're taught. Now it's no longer done. So we find our ladies find it difficult now to learn certain ways to keep themselves traditionally. It went to how they kept their private parts clean, how they kept them in good condition, how they kept themselves health-wise. That's what they were taught. And when she gets married, there are certain rites also that are done. Because when she gets married, she's being taken to a family that does not adhere to her ancestors. So her ancestors have to be notified that your daughter is switching surname. Your daughter is now a Moyo from being a Ngube. So there is a ritual that when she comes home, it is done, so that her ancestors can also give room to the husband's ancestors now to take care of their daughter.
For generations, communities across Southern Africa have marked the transition into womanhood through rites of passage ceremonies that have shaped the lives of young women for centuries. While each culture has its own customs, languages, and traditions, these ceremonies shared a common purpose: to prepare girls for adulthood with knowledge, guidance, and a deeper sense of identity. Guided by mothers, grandmothers, aunts, and respected female elders, young women were taught about menstruation, fertility, relationships, family life, personal health, and the responsibilities that accompanied womanhood. Some ceremonies took place in seclusion, creating time for reflection and learning. Others were celebrated through song, dance, storytelling, and communal gatherings that welcomed a girl into a new stage of life. Within these rites of passage, generations of knowledge were passed from one woman to the next. Knowledge of menstrual care, nutrition, medicinal plants, and the traditions that connected health, family, and community. Today, many of these traditions continue to evolve alongside modern education and healthcare. Together, they reflect an enduring belief that becoming a woman is more than a biological milestone. It is a journey shaped by knowledge, culture, and the women who guide each new generation along the way. The journey into womanhood begins long before adulthood itself. It starts with a series of remarkable changes that prepare the body for the reproductive years ahead. One of the most significant milestones is the first menstrual period, known as menarche. In some communities, a first period doesn't begin with knowledge. It begins with silence. A quiet moment, a question she's afraid to ask, a pain she doesn't yet have words for. Across Southern Africa, the journey into womanhood has traditionally been supported by mothers, grandmothers, aunts, respected female elders, and in many communities, traditional healers. Drawing on knowledge passed through families and communities, they helped young women understand the changes of puberty and prepare for the responsibilities of adulthood. Today, that landscape is changing. Urbanization, smaller families, and formal education mean many girls now learn about menstruation through schools, healthcare professionals, and digital media rather than the extended family. Yet many still experience their first period unprepared, and menstruation often remains a topic discussed privately rather than openly. As traditions evolve and society changes, the conversation around menstrual health is finding new voices. In the city of Bulawayo in Zimbabwe, one of those voices belongs to an award-winning herbalist, Cindy. Trained first as a nurse before later embracing traditional medicine, she brings experience from both healthcare systems to her work with women and young girls. Drawing on this unique perspective, she encourages open conversations about menstruation, reproductive health, and the importance of recognizing when symptoms require further medical assessment. For many young women, Cindy represents a bridge between generations of traditional knowledge and the realities of modern healthcare, helping ensure that the journey into womanhood begins with understanding, confidence, and informed choices.
This journey, I started it when I was very young, but I didn't know that I've already started the journey. When I was maybe doing grade 4, when my grandma was a health worker in Tabazinduna in rural areas, is where I started. So when my grandmother was going visiting her clients or her patients, I was the one carrying the bag and the torch, especially in the evening. So I was interested more in nursing. I did my education. When I was done with nursing, I discovered that the herbs, they do wonders in healing people in different diseases. I met a certain lady. She was a herbalist. Then she told me that she wanted to open a hospital. It was 2001. Then I started working by 2003 with that lady doing herbals. Then later I went to school to learn more about herbs and doing sort of other things like a massage and so forth. Then after that, I worked with that lady about 10 years in a herbal clinic. Then later, after 10 years, it's whereby I started my own. It was 2014 where I started doing my own products under Cindy Herbal Products. It is not easy. As you know, as a herbalist, I'm working hand in hand with the schools, with the churches, whereby I meet the youths, especially those girls from the age of 12, whereby I'll be teaching them what are the menstruation periods. Starting from there is where we are supposed to start. Others, they are having those period pains. We normally call it in Ndebele isilumo. So we teach them that ukuthi khona kumele sibayelaphe njani. How do we treat that? What are the disadvantages of treating isilumo and advantages of treating them? Disadvantages, if you treat isilumo, umuntu mayethanda ukudlala labafana can get pregnant easily. Then if we don't treat it, siyakukhozela more problems when you want a baby. They cause infertility. So isilumo, we first teach them to understand what are period pains, what is the disadvantage of treating period pains. So it is important to be guided, not to just take any herb from the bush you start drinking because they told you it can treat period pains. So what we normally do, we teach them first.
For most girls, menstruation is a healthy and natural part of growing up, marking the beginning of their reproductive years. But the menstrual cycle is more than a monthly occurrence. It is one of the body's most important indicators of reproductive health. While many women experience regular cycles, others live with heavy bleeding, debilitating pain, irregular periods, or bleeding between cycles. For many communities in Southern Africa, painful menstruation is known as isilumo, a traditional term for severe menstrual cramps and other forms of lower abdominal pain. For centuries, traditional healers have used medicinal plants and natural remedies to relieve these symptoms, although cultural beliefs and approaches to treating isilumo have varied between communities. Others have held the belief that relieving menstrual pain in young unmarried girls could remove a natural deterrent to sexual activity, potentially encouraging premarital relationships. Within these traditions, the discomfort was sometimes seen as reinforcing abstinence until marriage and preserving cultural expectations around chastity.
Traditionally for us, when a girl says that she has period pain and she's having lower abdominal pain, we go into the bush. There are elderly women who are knowledgeable, they know herbs. They go and dig up specific herbs in the bush and bring to the girl to give her. But they will say to the girl, since you have this period pain, have you been intimate with boys? If she is still a virgin, they will give her the herbs to treat her. But if she has been intimate, they do not treat her, and they say to her, we will not give you herbs to treat you until you are married, because if you go and sleep with boys, you will fall pregnant.
Traditional healers have long used a variety of medicinal plants to ease menstrual pain, including African ginger, Siphonochilus aethiopicus, African wormwood, Artemisia afra, Lipia javanica, fever tea, and preparations made from selected roots, bark, and leaves. These remedies are traditionally used to relieve cramping and abdominal discomfort.
One of these treatments is called Chijeko Jeko. It can be found in mountainous areas. It usually has dry leaves, and the fruit is what we dig up. We scrape this off and grind this, put it in water, and make a porridge that she eats.
For many women, Traditional medicine is not only about preserving culture or maintaining ancestral traditions. It is also about finding answers to deeply personal health challenges. Among the most common of these challenges are uterine fibroids. Often unseen, yet capable of profoundly affecting a woman's quality of life. Fibroids are non-cancerous growths that develop within the uterus. They can cause heavy menstrual bleeding, chronic pain, fatigue, and difficulties with fertility and pregnancy. Across Africa, millions of women live with fibroids. Many suffer in silence. Some dismiss the symptoms as a normal part of womanhood. Others face barriers to diagnosis, treatment, or specialist care. For many women, the greatest obstacle is not the disease itself, but the path to a diagnosis. Limited access to ultrasound services, shortages of specialist care, long journeys to healthcare facilities, and the cost of medical investigations can all delay the answers women need. Many first turn to trusted traditional healers whose knowledge and support remain deeply woven into community life.
If
a person has fibroids, you may find these near the fallopian tubes, in the uterus, or they may be near the ovaries. So when you come to us, we know that we now have the technology. Initially, we used to check using our hands, trying to find out what a person could probably have in their abdomen. You would find that someone find a lump, which you cannot comprehend, which is not a pregnancy. What we do now is we take that person for an ultrasound scan so that we see how big the fibroid is. And when we know the size is 2.3 centimeters or 5 centimeters or up to 30 centimeters, we know that some people will carry a mass. She will appear like she is 9 months pregnant, but instead, this will be a fibroid. When we get the measurements, as herbalists, we start giving you medication. We will give medication probably for 3 months. Then after 3 months, they go back for a scan to check and see if they have shrunk in the expected way. Has the medicine been effective? Then what are the signs and symptoms of fibroids? Heavy bleeding, irregular bleeding, where you find a person is on continuously. Being anemic, dizziness, feeling tired, and also feeling a fullness in your abdomen. Those are fibroids. Fibroids cause a lot of problems in the body. They may cause infertility, where you can't bear children. You may bleed, have heavy bleeding. Someone can bleed to death. So we treat all these things.
According to the World Health Organization and the International Federation of Gynecology and Obstetrics, uterine fibroids are among the most common conditions affecting women. By the age of 50, an estimated 70 to 80% of women will develop fibroids, with women of African ancestry more likely to develop them at a younger age and with more severe disease.
When we treat
fibroids, personally I use herbs. I will call it a fibroid combo, whereby you have detox agents like Imbiza, aloe vera for detoxification. Then after that, you will get that which makes them shrink. I also have another method that I personally use. We use mud, that muddy clay as we know it. But there is a way of collecting this clay so that it does not have germs. We dig 30 centimeters from the ground. Then from there, you take that soil. You sterilize with boiling water, mix it into a paste, then go and place it directly on top of the fibroid. After some time, maybe we may massage it. So we check and see how many are they, and we massage them. Then when we are mixing that soil, we normally call it a poultice. We use boiling water, so we kill all the bacteria and any unwanted bugs that may be present. Then we place that bandage. We call it a bandage, a natural bandage. We place it on you, put a plastic on top, and then we tie this with a cloth or any other material such as a crepe bandage. Then it will extract the toxins from the fibroid.
In some traditional healing practices, medicinal clay or mud is applied as poultices, or used in therapeutic bathing rituals to help relieve discomfort and promote general well-being. While these practices remain an important part of traditional care for some communities, there is limited clinical evidence of its benefits. Further high-quality research is needed to better understand its potential benefits, safety, and role in women's healthcare. For many women, fibroids are one of the most common reproductive health challenges they will face, but they are not the only ones. Across Africa, another group of conditions continues to affect the lives of countless women, often with far more serious consequences. Cervical cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, diseases that can alter lives, families, and entire communities. Yet despite advances in medicine and growing awareness, many women are still diagnosed at advanced stages when treatment becomes more difficult and outcomes less certain. You became a guiding light. Cervical cancer is one of the few cancers that is largely preventable, yet it remains a leading cause of cancer deaths among women across sub-Saharan Africa. Almost every case is linked to persistent infection with high-risk human papillomavirus, or HPV. A simple cervical screening test, commonly known as a pap smear, can detect abnormal cells years before they become cancerous, making early treatment highly effective. Combined with HPV vaccination, cervical screening has the potential to save thousands of lives. Yet, for many women, access remains the greatest challenge. Distance to healthcare facilities, shortages of trained professionals, the cost of travel, and limited awareness can all delay screening. As a result, many women are diagnosed only after symptoms develop, when treatment becomes more difficult. Detecting cervical changes before cancer develops remains one of the most powerful tools in reducing the burden of cervical cancer across the region. For many women across Southern Africa, a diagnosis of breast, cervical, or ovarian cancer brings together two traditions of care. Alongside hospitals and oncology clinics, many also turn to traditional healers for herbal remedies, counseling, and spiritual support that can help ease the physical and emotional burden of illness. Yet, medical evidence remains clear. Early diagnosis and timely treatment with surgery, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, immunotherapy, and targeted therapies offer the greatest chance of survival.
Yeah, we've got breast cancer.
We have breast cancer, what we call indebele, imvukuzane, cancer of the breast, cancer of the opening of the womb, cervical cancer, things like that. People have to come early for treatment and get education and learn about how to examine yourself. How can you tell that now your breast doesn't look all right? We have to teach all this and make people aware and know that when you discover you have a lump, or when you squeeze pus comes out, or similar things, people have to learn and have awareness at an earlier age, so that when a person discovers that all is not all right, they seek medical attention as quickly as possible.
Researchers continue to investigate the anti-cancer potential of Southern Africa's medicinal plants, but these remedies have not been proven as standalone cancer treatments in clinical trials. Across much of the region, traditional medicine regulations also prohibit practitioners from making unsubstantiated claims that traditional remedies can cure or treat cancer without scientific evidence. Increasingly, the future lies in collaboration, where traditional knowledge and modern medicine work together, ensuring cultural traditions are respected, while every woman receives safe, effective, and evidence-based care. Traditional medicine has never stood still. For generations, it has traveled alongside the people who carried it, across borders, through communities, and between rural villages and growing cities. As Southern Africa changed, so too did its healing traditions, adapting, evolving, finding new homes in new places, and nowhere is that journey more visible than in Johannesburg. Founded in 1886, following the discovery of gold on the Witwatersrand, Johannesburg grew from a small mining settlement into the economic heart of Southern Africa. The promise of opportunity attracted people from across the region and beyond. They arrived seeking work, stability, and a better future. But they also brought with them their cultures, languages, beliefs, and traditions. Among these were centuries of indigenous medicinal knowledge that had long played an important role in supporting health and well-being within communities across Southern Africa. But beneath the wealth lay deep inequalities. Mine workers endured dangerous conditions, while racial segregation increasingly determined where people could live, work, and build their lives. These divisions became entrenched under apartheid after 1948. Johannesburg stood at the center of a system that separated communities through discriminatory laws, forced removals, and unequal access to housing, education, healthcare, and employment.
The crowd refused to disperse and began stoning the police, who opened fire into the crowd from behind a wire fence. In 2 days of demonstrations that began here, between 50 and 100 were killed and hundreds injured. Worldwide protests were raised, including a condemnation of the violence by the United States State Department. In South Africa, a mass work boycott by Africans is crippling industry in the area. An uneasy calm reigns. The conditions that led to the Sharpsville tragedy continue unchanged.
Townships such as Soweto became powerful symbols of both hardship and resistance, as generations fought for equality and justice. The transition to democracy in 1994 marked the beginning of a new chapter. Political freedoms expanded, and South Africa began the long process of rebuilding a society divided by decades of institutional discrimination. Yet, Johannesburg, like much of the country, continues to confront significant challenges, including poverty, unemployment, inequality, and unequal access to healthcare. Today, Johannesburg is one of Africa's largest and most dynamic cities, a place where modern hospitals stand alongside long-established traditions of healing. That journey converges in two remarkable places. Faraday Market stands as one of Southern Africa's most important centers for traditional medicine. It is among the largest and most significant centers of traditional medicine in South Africa. Established in the early 1990s after traders were relocated from the Johannesburg city center, it has grown into a vital hub for traditional healers, herbalists, and medicine traders. Here, sacks of bark, roots, bulbs, seeds, and dried medicinal plants line the stalls, reflecting a rich pharmacopoeia built on centuries of indigenous knowledge and cultural practice. Just a short distance away, Mai Market offers a more intimate glimpse into this living tradition. Smaller in scale but rich in cultural diversity, it reflects the rhythms of everyday Johannesburg, where traditional medicine exists alongside food, craft, and commerce. These markets are more than places of trade. They are meeting places of knowledge, where ancient botanical traditions continue to adapt within one of Africa's most modern cities. Here, the past and the present exist side by side, reminding us that traditional medicine is not a relic of history, but a living practice that continues to evolve with the communities it serves.